I have now sold over 140,000 books by self-publishing low and medium content on Amazon KDP. I've also managed to do this while working a full-time job. In my Facebook group, KDP Secrets, I asked members to provide questions that they would like me to answer. These questions are mostly KDP related, but there are a few personal ones that I don't mind sharing. This video may be helpful to you as I will share insights based on these questions asked by self-publishers at different levels. I'm sure I will answer some of the questions that you may have regarding selling more books on Amazon KDP. I hope it helps. Okay, so the first question is, how many hours a week do you spend on Amazon KDP? Great question. I tend to go through phases depending on what is a priority at that time. For example, from September until mid-December, I prioritize Amazon KDP over my other businesses. If we go by my weekly schedule during the last Q4, I would roughly dedicate between 30 to 40 hours a week alongside my full-time job. Here is my rough schedule. Now, life doesn't always go to plan. There will be variables, but for the most part, I was able to somewhat stick to this schedule. I haven't included any annual leave days, which would obviously give me more time, but there are also days that I can't work due to my partner going out for the day with her friends, etc. Overall, you lose time in some places and gain in others. But like I said in a previous video, if you have a partner, you really need to be on the same page and you both need to understand that the time you sacrifice now will be beneficial to you as a whole family in the future. Teamwork is essential, and my partner handles most other things like getting groceries and so on. I appreciate that we all have different circumstances and spare time, but most people tend to waste a lot of time too. When you have a schedule like this, you are less likely to waste time scrolling TikTok and other wasteful activities. Some of you may wish to know how to plan out your week of KDP activities, so I will address that quickly. For Monday, you could focus on niche research. Add all potential niches to a spreadsheet. This may only take you a couple of hours. For the rest of Monday and Tuesday, you can create a book interior based on the niche research that you've done. If it is an activity book interior or something a bit more complicated, you may bleed into Wednesday. For the rest of Wednesday, you could design your book cover. Thursday, you will upload your book and then create A+ content ready for when it goes live. Friday, you can work on optimizing your ads, which won't take that long if you have a few campaigns. You then have a 2-day buffer if you need it. Now, that is just a rough plan of how to lay out your week. Of course, you will get quicker in each area over time. So you may be able to complete that weekly process in just 2 or 3 days, and then you can repeat. This schedule may seem too much for some, and that's okay. We don't all have to dedicate this amount of time to Amazon KDP, but there will be a correlation between the amount of hours of effort and the royalties earned over time. Okay, the next question is from Paul, which is it a bad idea to run new ads to old books? There are a lot of ad-related questions in this video, as it is an area where most people struggle. But my answer is no, I think it's a good idea. I am big on using Amazon ads, as you may already know. It is the reason I've been able to scale to these figures so fast. I've had great success reviving old books that have never sold by running low-bid lottery campaigns as well as other ad strategies. I recommend the lottery campaign as it can be quite cost-effective. You can chuck lots of random books in together and set a low bid amount, and over time, you should begin to get orders. After a while, you may find a handful of books that get multiple orders. You can then create individual campaigns for those books to keep the momentum going. Over time, you will see that some books are just not performing well in the lottery campaign, and you can discard them. An important note to make is that even though these are old books of yours, they still have to be desirable and not look terrible. I wouldn't dare run ads to some of the books that I first made. What is your favorite part of the KDP process? Again, I go through different phases, to be honest. I love niche research, which I know is an area that most people hate, but I love it. I could sit there for hours doing it. And once I start, I tend to go deep down the rabbit hole and end up with niches that are very different to where I started searching. I think Amazon advertising is the most rewarding area, as I can directly see if the changes that I've made to ads have resulted in sales. Also, I do like designing covers and interiors as well, especially if I haven't done it in a while, but I soon get bored of it if I have to do too many in a short space of time. Now, I realize that I have said a few things there which is probably cheating, but I will say that my least favorite part is probably the upload process and having to fill everything out, like choose categories, set prices, etc. It is very boring to me. How many books did you publish before you started to see profits? Now, this one is a dangerous one to answer, as my results will be nothing to do with your results, and I really don't want to discourage anyone who hasn't seen the same results in a similar time frame. There are way too many variables at play, such as the month I started, what niche I was in, the amount of hours I put in, how many books I published, and so on. In my first full month back in September 2019, I earned $176 in royalties. However, I was lucky that I started my self-publishing journey on the approach to Q4, which is when sales are more likely. Also, I was obsessed and spent every spare moment making books. I put more hours into self-publishing back then than I did in last Q4. And the reason for that is because I didn't have a child and other things to deal with. For the first month, I bought some of my books and so did my friends and family, which accounted for some of the royalties. I also made a lot of sales by posting about my book in a niche-related Facebook group. If I'd started in January when the volume of shoppers is lower, I may not have seen any profits at all. So don't let my answer put you off. Everyone has different circumstances and their journeys will not be the same. Some will have more time than others, some will start at worse times than others. So bear that in mind. I will link a video showing my monthly royalties from the start of my journey in the description, as well as other videos that relate to my other answers. I need a step-by-step process. I put out a planner, but no sales, sadly. Yep, this is very common. It is very easy to learn every step of the publishing process, but doing each step well is what will get you sales. There is almost too much KDP information on YouTube now, and everyone has their own different ways of doing each step. This can make it confusing for people to stick to a solid plan. This year, I will be creating a step-by-step A to Z self-publishing course. I've had fantastic feedback from the Amazon Advertising Blueprint course, but creating a step-by-step course of the whole publishing process will help more people. In the course, I will cover how I do everything. Niche research, design my covers, what tools and resources I use, how I create my interiors, how to check for trademarks, time management, mindset training, how to build a brand, Amazon ads, social media strategies, and so much more. This will definitely help make the whole process clearer for you. I don't have a date in mind just yet, but it will definitely be this year at some point. So stay tuned and subscribe to this channel for updates. Would you consider making a video of how to do keywords? Everything in order. I already have a tutorial on how to fill out the 7 keyword boxes, which I will link in the description. It is really good. This one is another question about keywords. There are various videos out there, but sometimes not clarified if short or long tail keywords are best. This comes back to my point about there being too much information out there. There will be more than one way to do things, and keywords is no exception. Some swear by only using long tail keywords, others use a mixture. I, however, use short only. If you check out my keyword video in the description, you will see exactly how I do it. Using long tail keywords may work too, but I can't comment on that as I don't do it. I just know that my way definitely works. As you've been told 2 different things by different people, I would try both ways and over a few months analyze the results. Then you can make your conclusion. Who was your biggest, best KDP teacher? Great question. When I first started, I learned a lot from various sources. I consumed as much information as I possibly could, but I would say that Ben Chinook was my favorite YouTube channel back then. He hasn't made a video for years now, so that's probably not helpful to you. But I also used to watch Paul Miles and Stacking Profit. I would say that my best KDP teacher was my mentor, Jacob Bates. He showed me step by step how to do everything to do with self-publishing. Paying for a mentor was one of the best investments that I made, even though at the time it seemed like a lot of money. I know a lot of people are against courses and mentoring, but if you buy from someone who has had success in the area that you want to be successful in, you are basically paying to speed up the process of success and avoiding the mistakes and lost time trying to figure it all out. Jacob had a career change a few years back, so please don't seek him out and ask for mentoring. These days, there are some great channels out there like Kim's channel, Your Chic Geek, Chris Raydog, Danny on Demand, Rags to Niches, and more. I recommend these channels because they are actually making decent money with Amazon KDP and not just solely pumping out videos for YouTube ad revenue. What will you do with the money? I am pretty open about money, so I don't mind answering this question, although it's probably not what you want to hear. I've been fortunate to earn quite a lot of money from self-publishing, but I am far from materialistic. As I've gotten older, fancy supercars and designer clothes have become less important to me. Since my self-publishing journey started 4.5 years ago, I've barely increased my living standards, meaning I roughly spend the same amount on my lifestyle as I did 4 years ago, despite the increase in income. The only big materialistic treat was that I bought myself a nice BMW last year, which was a goal of mine. That being said, it was still 6 years old and cost me about $17,000. My ultimate goal is to give my family the best future possible. To do this, I need to be in a very secure financial position. I would rather invest my money than spend it. So I invest in my businesses, I invest in the stock market every month, I have a small holding of crypto, and other investments that pay me an income. All of these investments will compound over the years, hopefully. Making sensible financial decisions will allow me to quit my job this year with no fear at all. Also, I have just paid $15,000 for a business growth coach because I need guidance from an expert that has already had success growing multiple businesses. I will, of course, share the results of this investment with you throughout the year. Do you offer mentoring? If so, what is the price? I have offered mentoring in the past for a few select clients, but it is not something that I am actively offering. My time is very limited, and trading my time for a fixed amount is not a goal of mine. That is why I want to leave my job. I much prefer to focus on things that can earn money autonomously, like Amazon KDP, Etsy, online courses, and so on. I prefer creating courses over one-to-one mentoring as I can help much more people. However, I may open up mentoring after I quit my full-time job. The price will be a premium though, as, like I said, I would rather focus on other autonomous businesses, and so it would have to be a price that would be worth it for me, probably in the region of $200 per hour or so. This will interest only a handful of people, which suits me better. Do you receive a bit of cynicism from your friends and family over your success? Interesting question. And the truth is, not really. Nothing has been said to my face anyway. I had my fair share of doubters when I first started publishing, but I think that's normal. Most people thought that it wouldn't work out. In regards to my success, like I said before, I'm not really materialistic, so it may not be apparent to my friends and family just how well I'm doing. I don't go out of my way to tell people how I'm doing in my real life. I only share my figures with you guys because I think it's important for you to know that the KDP related tips I share are producing results. Ultimately, I haven't changed as a person for them to feel negatively about me. I'm still the same person. I'm no better than anyone else. I was just fortunate to find something that made me some extra money. Do you wait for a book to make an organic sale before starting ads to it? This is a question I get a lot. I think waiting for an organic sale before running ads is a mistake. Before I get into why, I must make it clear that I don't think running ads is a good idea if you are new to self-publishing. This is because it takes a while to learn the ropes and create a desirable book. Your first set of books will probably be below average, and therefore advertising them will not be a good idea. But if you are able to create a good-looking book, I would run ads before getting an organic sale. Running ads increases the chance of you getting a sale. The more ad orders you get, the higher your book rises above the sea of competition. Then you begin to get organic sales because your book is better positioned for important search terms. This compounds, and the more overall sales you get, the quicker you are likely to get a good review, which then helps your books to sell even better. Without ads, there is no promise that you will get an organic sale, or if you do, you could be waiting a long time. I run ads to most of my newly published books, which gives them a fantastic chance. And I cover all of these insights and more in the Amazon Advertising Blueprint course. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Was your account ever audited or suspended? Luckily, I haven't been suspended so far, but I have had a few warning emails. One of these emails came just after I changed the price of one of my earlier books. Because I made a price change, the book went into a mini review and was flagged for a word that was misleading. This word was okay when I first published the book, but as Amazon changed the rules, it was no longer okay and they removed the book. This book was one of my best-selling books at the time, which was a huge disappointment to me. But other than that, I am pretty careful with my account. This is why I'm still unsure about using AI-generated covers. It is fine at the moment, but at the drop of a hat, Amazon can change their mind and decide to remove these types of covers. Thank you to those that asked me questions. There were a lot that I couldn't get round to, but if this video gets a good response, I will look at doing another one and answering even more questions. If you found this video interesting, please click the like button and subscribe. You will find all of the resources and videos mentioned linked in the description below. Until next time, take care.